a picture I took in the garden of a coleus and a little salamander sculpture from Gaudi from the church in Barcelona. And I went ahead and drew out parts of this painting. And I tried this is actually my second try. The first time around I tried it with a direct painting method, and I did not like the results. They were a little bit weak and it really wasn't going anywhere. So I thought, I'm going to try it again. And this time I will do some masking and an all-over background. And the reason really is that I would like darker darks and more variation in the color. So I've outlined all the areas that I want to mask, which are essentially all these bright green areas and some of the lighter areas in the salamander. So I'm going to just take my time and mask. And I picked a pretty small brush because I want to stay in these areas. For the salamander, I'm going to mask the edges. And some of the areas that have lighter tiles. And I'll let this dry. For our background inking, I'm going to do some all-over color. And I've picked out a bunch of colors that are in the picture, I think. I've got ginger, cranberry, bottle, amethyst, aquamarine, teakwood, and honeycomb. And they're not really obvious choices, but I think together they'll make a much more interesting background than I had my first time around. So I'm going to start sort of in the center, and I want to make sure that I do get cranberry and amethyst in where the coleuses are. So I get some. It's very, very inky, so I'm going to try to take off a little bit with paper towel. I'm debating about whether I want to fill in the background or not, but I think I'm just going to leave it. We'll see whether I'm happy staying with such an abstract background. I'm going to take off the masking fluid. The first thing I'm painting is the green of the coleus, and this is citrus. I'm going to use the cotton swab and some alcohol and kind of just lift out a little bit. Now I'm going to lift out the salamander. I think I'm actually just going to lift all of it out, even though there probably are some spots that this blue-green color might work out fine for. I'm going to return to the coleus for a few minutes and just use the brush to kind of do a little bit of lifting and texturing. I'll need to add back in some more of the more burgundy type colors through these darker areas. So this is the cranberry. And I'm just going going to paint it in. There's kind of a pale version of it, kind of behind and through some of these colors. Not sure if it will show up as that. Use some markers to put in the sort of tile work for the mosaic salamander. This is obviously a yellow marker. This is a green. And a dark blue. And a red. And an orangey color. And a paler blue. Use the micron pen to draw in the eye. A lot of this tail area is a little bit lighter, so might have to do some lifting through it. And I think I will do that now. And I'll do some more lifting in the coleus. Do some splattering. This brush has a little green on it, so it's kind of like greenish alcohol. I'm going to put the paper towel on and stop some of the spread, especially over the salamander. I'm going to work back through with this as a pale green marker, and we'll just work on doing a little lifting and kind of just still bringing out the coleus and the salamander. And this marker really isn't doing anything, so we'll try another one. Our coleus has a very irregular shape between the green and the red, so I'm going to start working on it from the green side, and then I might come work at it from the more reddish side. We also have some grasses coming through. Use this yellow, even though we really are much more green. I just want it to show up a little bit more. So we'll be just kind of combining the green and the yellow. go back through the mosaic. And the orange. And I'm going to use the white pen to add in some of the grout lines. And these may sink back in a little bit, I think. This is citrus. I want to just kind of blend in. I like to do slightly more splattering through this area. And I'd like it to be a little bit lighter, so I'm going to dab it with the paper towel as soon as it's splatted. And a little bit more over here. I'm definitely trying to lighten up this part of the painting. We're getting some really interesting textures in here. I'm going to go back through and continue to lighten where the lighter parts of our leaves are. And then probably add a little bit more burgundy in the burgundy parts. But I'm happy about these new textures. I think that's helping a little bit. So this is the cranberry. Trying to add in some of the irregular texture. I'd still like to see some significant highlighting in some parts of these green areas. So I will see how much I can lift off. I'm gonna take a pass around with the black micron pen and just take a look at some of these edges. So I'm going to let it sit overnight and see how the white pen sinks in, and it'll give me time to have some fresh eyes to figure out exactly what I want to do with it. But we're getting there. So it's been a day or so, and our white lines have definitely settled in. But what I'd like to do is do a little bit of lightening on parts of the salamander, but also a little bit of darkening in behind it. So I want to create a little bit more dimension. So I'm going to start with this dark marker and just kind of dab in some color around it to hopefully pop it out a little bit. I'm just going to dot it in and then kind of dab in with some alcohol. I want to keep some of these dotted patterns, but I also want to pop out the salamander. So this is the cotton swab to blend some of this. I'll also use the cotton swab to do a little bit of lifting. And this is the light green pen. I realized when I inadvertently used my marker over here that I might end up needing this part of the painting. So I'm going to just drop some more ink over here. And I need to get it off of the salamander. Let's see. I put the mat on it and kind of looking at some different croppings. Kind of like actually having some of this raw edge here, but I'd like some more splattering on this side. So this is the chip brush. So at this point I'd like to tighten up some of the mosaic work. This time I'll use the black pen. And the sepia pen. As well as a little bit more color. This is a kind of a turquoise blue. And the darker blue. This is the cotton swab. And finally the yellow. The thing I'm going to do is just kind of break up this edge a little bit. I'm not sure where the cropping will be. Just a little more splat. And we'll let this dry.